Hello everyone, welcome back to the IS Network Mains 2020 lecture series for internal security. So till now we have discussed numerous topics, be it your overall understanding of the internal security, be it related to cyber security, money laundering, organized crime, and lot of other topics. Today we are moving to the next topic. Basically we will be continuing from the last topic of organized crime and try to discover its linkages with terrorism. So let's begin with the lecture. So as we have discussed in the last lecture that what is organized crime? Organized crime is nothing but a crime which is organized in a manner of an organization and which is conducted by professional criminals so it has something of the nature of a organized enterprise kind of a mechanism where there are systematic mechanisms through which the crime is taking place. The funding is channelized through systematic channels. There are systematic clienteles as well as the ground force which is conducting these kind of crimes. So that is what we understood in the previous lecture regarding organized crime. So अब हम देखेंगे कि इसके लिंकेजेस टेररिज्म के साथ कैसे हैं. पहले हमें ये समझने की ज़रूरत है कि टेररिज्म का मतलब क्या है. व्हाट इज टेररिज्म, व्हाट डज क्वालिफाई एज टेररिज्म. सो टेररिज्म हैज़ द मेन वर्ड एज टेरर. टेरर इज नथिंग बट फियर. So basically terrorism consists of any such activity which is aimed at creating terror in the minds of the people. तो इस वजह से उसे टेररिज्म बोला जाता है. However, the ultimate aim might be some political interest, some economic interest or any other sort of ideological interest. However, the mechanism through which it is being attained is the use of terror. तो वो आप terrorism so terrorists generally use करते हैं ये fear, terror in order to further their interest. ताकि for example terrorists might attack through bombing etc. so as to cripple the economy of the system. उनका ऑब्जेक्टिव हो सकता है किसी एरिया पे कंट्रोल करके पॉलिटिकल अपने एक सेपरेट पैरेलल गवर्नमेंट क्रिएट करना. हाउएवर वो अटेन कैसे करेंगे? दे वुड नॉट अटेन इट थ्रू नॉर्मल डेमोक्रेटिक मीन्स. दे वुड अटेन इट थ्रू वायलेंट मीन्स बाय क्रिएटिंग फियर, बाय क्रिएटिंग टेरर इन द सोसाइटी. सो वो क्वालिफाई करता है एज टेररिज्म. हाउएवर देयर इज नो स्टैंडर्ड डेफिनेशन एज सच ऑफ टेररिज्म. अभी भी there is a comprehensive convention on terrorism which is going on, and basically they are trying to come up with a comprehensive definition of terrorism. But अभी तक वो possible नहीं हो पाया है because different countries see different organizations as terrorist group. In some other countries that might be treated as a nationalist bodies. For example, इसका अगर हम बहुत ही क्रूड एग्जाम्पल दें तो ब्रिटिश टाइम्स में हमारे जो फ्रीडम फाइटर्स थे उनको काफ़ी बार ब्रिटिशर्स ने एज टेररिस्ट भी डिक्लेयर किया है बिकॉज दे वर यूजिंग फोर्स इन ऑर्डर टू ओवरथ्रो द ब्रिटिश एम्पायर एंड विच वॉज सीन एज एन एक्ट ऑफ टेररिज्म बिकॉज उसके अंदर फोर्स इन्वॉल्व थी एंड बेसिकली दे वर ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट फियर इन द माइंड ऑफ द ब्रिटिश ऑफिशियल्स. सो दिस वे द टेररिज्म इन वन कंट्री कुड बी लुक्ड अपॉन बाय द अदर कंट्री एज अ or another section of the society as nothing but nationalist kind of a movement. That's why there have been issues when it comes to having a unilateral or I would say a universal definition of terrorism. तो अब हम ये समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि दोनों में लिंकेजेस क्या हैं, कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम लिंक्ड है टेररिज्म के साथ एंड टेररिज्म कैसे लिंक्ड है ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम के साथ. सो बेसिकली ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम में जैसे हमने देखा था कि मल्टीपल एक्टिविटीज इन्वॉल्व हैं, मल्टीपल टाइप के ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स होते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव आर एक्सटॉर्शन, वी हैव मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, वी हैव ड्रग ट्रैफिकिंग. सो ये सारे लिंकेजेस कहीं ना कहीं आप अगर देखेंगे तो ये सारे ऑब्जेक्टिव था ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम का वॉज टू चैनलाइज प्रॉफिट्स. अब वो प्रॉफिट्स किस पर्पस के लिए यूज होते हैं वो मेजर डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर है कि वो क्राइम किस लेवल का और किस फॉर्म में परपेट्रेट होगा. सो काफ़ी बार जो प्रोसीड्स हैं फ्रॉम दीज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स जनरली लीड टू सम और द अदर टेररिस्ट ग्रुप, सम और द अदर नेफेरियस ग्रुप्स. सो भले ही वो ड्रग्स से पैसा आ रहा हो, भले ही वो आपका ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग से पैसा आ रहा है, वो जनरली चैनलाइज होता है टू टेररिस्ट ग्रुप्स। हाउएवर दूसरा मैकेनिज्म क्या हो सकता है कि जो ड्रग्स की ट्रैफिकिंग हो रही है उनका कंजम्पशन टेररिस्ट ग्रुप से हो रहा है। सिमिलरली जो आर्म्स ट्रेडिंग हो रही है, आर्म्स आर बीइंग बॉट बाय द वेरियस टेररिस्ट ग्रुप्स। सो इस तरीके से भी लिंकेजेस हो सकती हैं। तो जनरली अगर हम इंटरप्ले देखें ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम का एंड टेररिस्ट ग्रुप्स का, तो उसे हम 3 तरीके से देख सकते हैं। वन इज को एग्जिस्टेंस, दैट दे एग्जिस्ट simultaneously. For example, in the regions where we have high amount of organized crime, it's generally the areas where the terrorism is also high. For example, if we look in the Golden Crescent region, Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan, if we see that these are the areas which are high on organized crime in terms of drug trafficking, etc. However, and simultaneously these regions are also quite affected by terrorism. For example, Pakistan is a state sponsor of terrorism. Similarly, Afghanistan, there is a very uncertain kind of conditions on the ground between the state forces and the Talibani forces for over a decade. So one state could be coexistence. Second could be cooperation, where cooperation in the form that these terrorist groups are involved in these organized crimes, and these organized crimes are basically getting supported through the terrorist activities, or their funds are being channelized in order to further these terrorist groups. So basically terrorist groups are using these organized crimes as a funding mechanism. So these are two different, I would say that two different domains of a single entity. So one, the terrorist groups are targeting a political, or I would say an ideological front, whereas your organized crime is basically the economic front of that same organization. Similarly, there is a convergence in the sense that both of them are trying to attain a common objective, where they have certain political or economic agendas that they are trying to further. Similarly, there might be cooperation and convergence in the form that they might be dealing in certain kind of technologies, where few technologies through these organized crime groups might be given to the terrorist groups. For example, few intellectual property rights or few technology related to bombing, drones, etc. These are being channelized to these terrorist groups. So these three are the basic examples of the type of interplay that can be happening between the organized crime and the terrorist groups. अब हम कोशिश करते हैं कुछ एग्जांपल्स देखें कि कहाँ पे ये चीज़ें एक दूसरे के साथ इंटरप्ले हो रही हैं। जैसा कि आपके साथ मैंने पहले भी डिस्कस किया है इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्पेसिफिक इश्यूज। तो नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हमने बहुत बार देखा है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में एक्सटॉर्शन इज अ मेजर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम दैट इज गोइंग ऑन। उसकी वो पैसा जो कि वहाँ पे चैनलाइज किया जाता है थ्रू किडनैपिंग एटसेट्रा, विच माइट बी गोइंग इनटू द फंडिंग ऑफ दीज इंसर्जेंट ग्रुप्स which are also using terror as a mechanism to further their interests. Similarly, human trafficking, drug trafficking, gun running, basically ये some basically criminal activities हैं जिनके proceeds are going to your terrorist groups. Similarly, J&K में counterfeit currency, which is again another, or money laundering, which is another form of organized crime. These are being done through dedicated terrorist groups, dedicated anti-India groups operating from Pakistan occupied Kashmir or within Pakistan. So these are done, these crimes is not being done by normal people, these are being done by terrorist groups. So they are the backup channel behind these, they are the systematic players which are involved in these organized crimes. Similarly, ISI has been it is believed that ISI has been using the drug money in order to fund militant activities in Kashmir. इसी तरीके से इंडियन मुजाहिदी जो कि एक एक्टिव ग्रुप है इन द POK रीजन, टेररिस्ट ग्रुप, वो अपने फंड्स रेज करता है थ्रू वेरियस क्राइम्स, बी इट रॉबरीज, किडनैपिंग्स एटसेट्रा. सो अगर हमें क्वेश्चन में ये लिंकेजेस दिखानी है बिटवीन टेररिस्ट ग्रुप्स एंड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम, वी कैन यूज दीज एग्जांपल्स कि कहाँ पर कुछ एरियाज जो कि ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम के लिए भी बहुत नोन है वो ही एरियाज जनरली टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए भी काफ़ी नोन है. सो दिस इज बेसिकली अ कॉपरेशन और अ एसोसिएशन बिटवीन द टू एक्टिविटीज़. एंड फ्यू terrorist groups are known for using certain specific organized crimes in order to create funding, create or further their interests. तो अब हमने एक बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिल चुकी है कि कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स और टेररिस्ट ग्रुप्स लिंक्ड हैं, एंड वी हैव डिस्कस सम फ्यू एग्जांपल्स कि कहाँ पे ये इन दोनों का एसोसिएशन बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट अमाउंट में प्रेजेंट है. अब हम कोशिश करेंगे इनके लिंकेजेस को और प्रॉपर तरीके से एनालाइज करने के लिए, एंड इनकी वजह से क्या इश्यूज हो रहे हैं, क्या सजेशंस हम दे सकते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू टैकल दीज लिंकेजेस एंड टू ब्रेक दीज लिंकेजेस. सो कुछ लिंकेजेस के आप जैसे कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हम बात कर रहे थे, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में यू वुड ऑब्जर्व दैट फ्यू मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स आर ऑलमोस्ट रनिंग अ पैरेलल गवर्नमेंट, जहाँ पे वो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वे से बेसिकली दे आर कलेक्टिंग मनी फ्रॉम द पीपल. That's not even extortion money, that's more like a protection money that they are seeking from the people and running an altogether different parallel government and seeking almost like the government seeks from you taxes. So this is one of the ways. Similarly, they are using various avenues, be it in terms of social media, be it in terms of fear, to attract new recruits as well as to siphon off the government funds that are being delivered for, let's say, the development of the region. They are trying to siphon off that money to basically use them for their own interests. There are various, so extortion, looting of various essential commodities is very common in the northeast region, where your essential commodities which might be, let's say, being delivered for the PDS shops, be it kerosene, rice, etc., they are looted away as well as hoarded and then sold to the public at much higher prices. So this is another kind of evasion of evasion of the public property, etc. Now let's try and look at few issues what are being generated by these or what are the various reasons behind these linkages as well as your issues being created due to these linkages between terrorism and your organized crime. So one of the major issue when it comes to organized crime and terrorism linkages is that it is its cause also as well as its effect. So one of the reason behind it is that the societal division that is there in our society, be it on the lines of economic division, economical differences, social inequalities, regional inequalities, ethnic, or be it communal in that sense. So basically there are certain differences which are present in our society, which are cutting across as well as overlapping in terms of economic, social, ethnic identities of the people, which are being capitalized by these terrorist groups as well as organized crime related groups. So these differences are one of the major reasons why people are susceptible to these kind of ideologies by the various terrorist groups, or are enticed by these organized crime groups by giving them few monetary incentives or channelizing their emotions of cultural deprivation, etc. Ethnic struggles as well as separatist movements are quite common in our border sharing states. So what happens is that to run any kind of movement, there is a requirement of funding as well as the support. So any movement has 2-3 dimensions. So one is your ideology, other is basically the movement's mass base. Similarly, the third thing required is basically funding. So by giving an ideological support to these ethnic and separatist movements through basically the use of various religious texts or various ideological texts, or basically fanning their emotions, that is what is being done by various organized groups as well as your terrorist groups. So they are fanning their emotions in order to capitalize on them and thus moving them into criminal activities, etc. And these separatist and ethnic struggle groups are basically wooed by them majorly because they need funding for carrying out their interest, and they believe that a third party is helping them in order to further their interests. Similarly, the fertile ground for these kind of issues is created by the huge unemployment that is present in today's world, especially among the Indian youth. So they can be very easily wooed by the terrorist groups, or be it into doing some organized crime activities. Reason being, they have a fight for survival going on in day-to-day life, as well as they have not been given proper training, or the moral standards in the society are going a bit down in these days. So that is being exploited. Similarly, India's tension with the neighboring countries also creates a fertile situation for these terrorist groups to basically sprout out. Reason is that as I said, that the terrorist groups, terrorism in itself do not have a single definition. Many a times the terrorist groups are actually grown by the states. That's why it is also many a times referred to as state-sponsored terrorism, because it is used by some of the countries as a state policy in order to further their interest against a neighboring nation. So they might itself be providing them with financial assistance, training, etc. For example, Pakistan uses terrorism as a state policy in order to further their interest, to further their anti-India agenda, by providing proper systematic logistic support, training, financial assistance through their ISI. Having said that, the economic and social inequalities accompanied with the lack of employment, these are basically the consequences of a bigger phenomenon, that is, India is still in a developing country and it has limited resources. Thus, there are avenues where your resource distribution might not be sufficient to meet the needs of the people. Thus, it creates an opportunity for basically people getting dejected, as well as people feeling that their interests are not being appreciated, and thus creates an atmosphere where nexuses between criminals and politicians can develop, where people could be basically wooed that their interests are being supported using these kind of activities, which might not be the true case. And as we have discussed in the previous lectures, that India's location itself is a problematic issue when it comes to the organized crimes and terrorist groups. Reason being, our neighbors are not very having conducive relationships with us, as well as they are known for their nefarious activities. Secondly, that we have been caught between the Golden Triangle and the Golden Crescent, which is a hub of organized crimes. Thus, the geography also creates a conducive situation for the linkages as well as these kind of crimes perpetrated within our society as well. With increased globalization, now the situation has emerged where that there are huge linkages between the companies, the people operating in India with the outside countries. So it's very hard to basically track down each and every activity that is going on and trace down the traces of any illegal money that is being circulated, arms, etc. And the border management issues that we discussed, that our borders are not very well managed be it due to our incapabilities or the geographical difficulties with respect to managing those borders. These all are creating situations where it's not that easy to monitor these organized crimes as well as terrorist groups from mushrooming up. So globalization has also intensified this process. Reason being, now a terrorist group might actually be getting funded from some political entities which are living thousands of kilometers away through use of technology, and they are being channelized through various MNCs whose local branches might be in that area. So these are few issues as well as reasons behind the spread of organized crime as well as terrorism. So the basic understanding is that there are few inequalities in the society which are leading to people being alienated, which is being capitalized by these terrorist groups. Second kind of issue is our geography itself, which is creating some issues. Third, being the international relations are not that conducive, and terrorism is being used as a state policy by some actors in order to create a ruckus in the Indian society. Similarly, the developing nature of our Indian society itself creates some kind of issues where the resources cannot be properly allocated. Similarly, the political nexus and the lack of political will is reducing the chances of us being able to tackle with this problem in a significant manner. Now let's try and look at few suggestions. How are we going to deal with these organized crimes and terrorism linkages? So one of the important suggestions is basically we need to tackle all the problems that we have discussed. What are the reasons that are creating a fertile environment for these kind of crimes to happen? So we need to take each and every component of the causes and try to reduce that. For example, unemployment. We need to we need to reskill our people, upskill our people, and basically educate our people. So there needs to be proper skill development as well as job creation in order to reduce the economic vulnerabilities of the people, and thus reducing the opportunity for these anti-state actors to exploit the vulnerabilities of the people. Then comes we need to reduce the differences when it comes to the overlapping discrepancies, overlapping inequalities in terms of social, economic, ethnic, religious. For example, let's say a Muslim community is there. Muslim community is generally, if you see within India, it's not very well represented in the civil services. So, and if you go by the educational status of the Muslim community, that is also low. So, and then they are also religious they are also recognized as a religious minority. Now there are three inequalities: a religious inequality, that they are having a minority status in India. Then there is a educational status, educational inequality, that they are not well educated. Then comes the economic inequality, that as they are not very well represented in public jobs, their economic standing is also low. So we need to remove especially these kind of inequalities where you have multiple inequalities basically superimposing with each other. So that can be done through systematic affirmative actions, so that and we need to target those communities first. We need to prioritize those communities where these kind of overlapping inequalities are at maximum. So that would reduce their alienation from the mainstream as well as help in their integration. Apart from these steps, these economic steps, we need to have some political interventions as well. So as the ARC has given some recommendations regarding organized crime, we need to follow that. We need to have a strict definition of what is organized crime, and the laws needs to be significantly enforced using a swift as well as I would say swift enforcement mechanism and a judicial system, where there needs to be a fear among the people that there would be a certainty of punishment when it comes to organized crime. Similarly, there needs to be significant crackdown on corruption, because corruption is the key from where these people are getting a political sanction for doing these kind of activities. Because without corruption on the ground, it's very much impossible that these kind of organized crime can surface on the ground. Reason being, the local authorities are basically giving them protection, or I would say they are giving them free hand. They are letting them go scot-free. That is creating a systematic chain of events which might lead to some terrorist activities in the future as well. Followed with, there needs to be diplomatic efforts, because these kind of crimes are not limited to a specific region. These are transnational crimes. Then there needs to be some diplomatic efforts as well. We need to create some common minimum ground when it comes to our neighbors and us. So we need to further our interest through diplomatic efforts, through proper channelizing of demands, through multinational bodies. We need to create a cohesive environment between our neighbors and us, so that we can significantly move towards a common better future. There needs to be effective implementation of UN Convention on Corruption. There is already a corruption related convention where the definition of corruption as well as significant steps in order to tackle corruption have been propagated. We need to effectively implement that, and this treaty is basically under the United Nations Office on Drug Control. which is a UN body in order to deal with the menace of drug trafficking. So we need to create a conducive environment for the implementation of these agencies' recommendations on ground. So we need to create an atmosphere where our youth is not very easily enticed by to go into these wrong directions. That would be happening through economic changes as well as some social changes, where we need to create awareness among the people that there needs to be high moral ground when it comes to dealing with these kind of issues. They should not be indulged in petty corruption, petty activities. We need to create local change agents. For example, in Punjab there was a significant de-radicalization campaign which was run using the females in the house. For example, if a mother tries to convince their child that they should not do drugs, it has a much higher impact than a state authority telling a person to stay away from drugs, because that has an emotional content in that appeal. So we need to create a local change agents. Similarly, we need to prevent radicalization of people. We need to have dedicated de-radicalization, information, education as well as awareness campaigns in order to deal with this challenge on the societal level. Apart from this, we need to have significant steps being taken on the security front as well as the technology front. At the security front, as I discussed in the previous lecture as well, we need to have dedicated agencies in order to deal with the organized crime. We already have a dedicated agency in the form of National NIA for dealing with terrorism. So there needs to be a separate agency to deal with the organized crime, and thus we need to have a coordination, proper coordination between the new agency for organized crime as well as the NIA, so that they can coordinate their information, they can have real-time actionable intelligence being generated so that it can be used to crack down on these nefarious activities. The strong and comprehensive crime prevention strategy needs to be developed on the ground, which involves all the stakeholders, be it your families, be it schools, be it civil society, be it your law enforcement agencies, be it your MNCs. So there needs to be stakeholders from all these there needs to be representation from all these stakeholders, and prepare a comprehensive strategy where each and every person has their roles identified, that how they can contribute to the dealing with the situation. Similarly, there needs to be significant investment when it comes to technology related to cyberspace. We need to properly have a proper surveillance platform as well as monitoring of the cyberspace, where proper linkages between the activities on social media, be it in terms of recruitment, be it in terms of propagation of their ideology, that can be linked in order to create actionable intelligence, a proper information regarding the activities of these agencies, so that we can trace these activities before happening. So many a times there have been social media posts that have been linked to some or the other terrorist attacks. If we are able to identify, we are able to prioritize few accounts, few individuals which might be related to these activities, and properly have a proper surveillance network over these individuals, we might be able to decipher these messages beforehand and thus prevent a lot of ruckus in the society and prevent such terrorist attacks from happening. So in this lecture, we have got an overall understanding of how basically our organized crimes are linked with terrorism. So we first discussed what is terrorism and how it is linked with, and what is organized crime, and in what ways there is interplay between these two entities, be it in terms of coexistence, be it in terms of cooperation, or be it in terms of convergence. And then we tried and discussed few examples where these two activities are happening hand in hand, hand in glove. So basically we discussed few examples from J&K, Northeast, or be it your Maoist terrorist groups or ISI kind of agencies which are using some organized crimes in order to further their interest on the terrorism front as well. Followed with which we discussed a few linkages, like how are these agencies dealing in organized crime as well as terrorism on the ground. Followed with which we discussed few issues. So basically, what are the contributing factors, what are the issues which are leading to a situation which is conducive to these kind of crimes on the ground. We discussed few political angles, few international cooperation angles, similarly economic angle for these kind of for a fertile ground being prepared for these kind of organized and terrorist crimes. Followed with, we should discuss few interventions in all these domains, be it in the social domain, economic domain, international cooperation domain, which can be utilized in order to tackle this situation. So that would be all from this lecture. From the next lecture, we will discuss few specific issues, be it like communalism, regionalism, etc., which are important for your internal security syllabus. So if you like our video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.